Hey guys, what's up and welcome to IGCSE Success. It is Friday, it's very late, but I thought I would do this video for you because I get this question an awful lot, and it's to do with the denotations of words and do I need to explore the explicit meanings of words in my writer's effect question. And if you stay until the very end, I have written a model exploring both the denotation and connotations of words, but ultimately the writer's effect question is assessing your understanding of how language works, and can you identify 6 images and can you sort of unpick what the writer is trying to suggest, what kind of image they are trying to create. Now, a really good way to practice, if there's any voracious readers out there, is to just sort of pull your favorite novels and, pick a descriptive paragraph and do a writer's effect question on it. Now, this paragraph comes from The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, and I'm just going to read it and then I'm going to pull 3 images out of this paragraph, and then I'm going to show you a model response. Just one paragraph because it's quite late. Let's take a read. The cars of the migrant people crawled out of the side roads onto the great country highway, and they took the migrant way to the west. In the daylight they scuttled like bugs to the westward, and as the dark caught them, they clustered like bugs near to shelter and to water. And because they were lonely and perplexed, because they had all come from a place of sadness and worry and defeat, and because they were all going to a new mysterious place, they huddled together, they talked together, they shared their lives, their food, and they hoped for in the new country. So what we've got here are some migrant people. They are going somewhere, they are entering unfamiliar territory, they are entering the unknown, and there's a real sense of helplessness, hopelessness, and their vulnerability, and that really is going to form my topic sentence of my writer's effect paragraph. But I'm just going to quickly highlight 3 images. Let's go with this first image. So the cars of migrant people, let's try again. There we go, crawled out of the side roads. That is definitely going to be my first image. Then we've got this brilliant simile, scuttled like bugs. And for my last image, remember you want to try and say something different about each image. I'm going to go with this one actually. Going to a new mysterious place. Now, you really want to get into the habit, when you do the writer's effect question, you need to highlight, of course, but you also need to plan your route, or you need to annotate. You need to know what you are going to say. If you just start writing straight away, chances are your analysis is going to be a little bit all over the place. So people crawled, I'm going to look at this verb. Obviously the denotation of this word creates an image of them crawling on their hands and knees and struggling. But the sort of connotation of the verb crawled creates a sense, I guess, of desperation. They're weak. They're certainly vulnerable. They're desperate to get to somewhere safe. Okay, scuttle like bugs. Again, we've got another verb here, all about movement. So they're sort of in a hurry to get to somewhere quite safe. And then we've got this simile here as well. Now, certainly when I think of bugs, it's again emphasizing their sort of weakness, but also that they are in many ways they're powerless. And I guess that's why they are attempting to move quickly, because they want to get to safety. And you really don't need to make extensive annotations because you don't have time, but as long as you know kind of what you are going to say. So we've got this sort of adjective here, they're going to a new mysterious place. So it's this sense of the unknown. They feel a sense of trepidation. They're scared. They're lonely. Of course, there's so much uncertainty, and there's a real palpable sense of anxiety, I guess, and just fear of the unknown. So these are my annotations. I'm now ready to put all of this information into a paragraph, exploring both the denotation and connotations of these words and images. Let's take a look. So I'm now going to take a read of a model writer's effect paragraph, and this is really what you want to try and achieve for both paragraphs. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to annotate it with the kind of things you need to be saying and the kind of things you need to include as well. So the overall effect of the language creates an image of the migrant people's vulnerability. They are entering unfamiliar territory and feel a great sense of helplessness. Firstly, the writer describes that the migrant people crawled out of the side roads. The writer's use of the verb crawled denotes the migrant workers struggling to move on their hands and knees. Additionally, it connotes a sense of desperation. It is clear that they are using what little energy they have left to find somewhere safe to shelter for the night. Secondly, the writer describes that the migrant people clustered like bugs. The writer's use of the verb clustered is particularly effective as it denotes the migrant workers being huddled together in a big group. Furthermore, it suggests that the migrant workers turn to each other for solace. Additionally, the writer comparing the migrant workers to bugs creates a sense of them being both powerless and weak. Lastly, the writer describes that the migrant workers are going to a mysterious place. The adjective mysterious denotes a place that is strange or unusual. Additionally, it emphasizes the migrant people's plight. They are entering the unknown and feel a great sense of trepidation. Now, I do want to stress that there are a number of ways, it's late. There are a number of ways to structure your response. This is not the only way, but this works for my students, and indeed I know it works for lots of students around the world. Now, a question that I often get asked again and again and again: do I need to include the denotation of words or the explicit meaning of words? The answer is kinda. I think you need to show an awareness of what some of the words, some of the images mean on a more literal level, and I guess that is just one layer of meaning, but really the ultimate goal is to unpick those images and explore the connotations. Ultimately, the connotations and that kind of original insight is what is going to get you those marks. However, this video is for all of you students who have been taught to provide the denotation or the explicit meaning of the words that you choose, and that is most certainly one approach. So if you have been taught this approach, this video will no doubt be particularly useful for you. Enough waffling, let's dissect the model. So you'll see here in yellow, it's kind of what the writer is wanting to achieve, or our impression. So I'm just going to say the overall effect. Do you have to include this? No. Do I think it's sensible you include it? Yes, because it gets you thinking about the writer's purpose, the writer's intention straight away. And what I find when students don't start with this kind of sentence starter is that their analysis isn't as focused as what it needs to be. So the overall effect of the language creates an image of the migrant people's vulnerability. They are entering unfamiliar territory and feel a great sense of helplessness. That's what I think the writer is trying to achieve. Then you want to use some sort of connective or transition phrase. Again, there's no writing marks. You can still get top marks if you have a kind of haphazard writing style, or if your grammar is not the best. Ultimately, you are going to get your marks from showing those reading skills, looking at inference, connotations, analysis, etc. So this is your kind of transition phrase, and then you'll notice here, crawled out of the side roads. Yes, this is, can I write here, an embedded quote. Do you have to embed your quotes? No. Is it good practice? Yes, certainly if you are doing English literature. So you start with the overall effect, you embed your quotation, and then you use what I call the zoom in technique. So I'm just going to write here, you zoom in. And put simply, that means zooming into a technique, imagery, a specific technique, or you can zoom into a word, look at the denotation and look at the connotation. With this model, I am starting with the denotation and then I'm going on to the analysis, or exploring the connotations of individual words. So I've put here, the writer uses the verb crawled, denotes the migrant workers struggling to move on their hands and knees. That is the literal meaning. Will you get points for that? Absolutely, because as I mentioned, it is one layer of meaning. However, you really want to focus most of your energy on exploring the connotations. And then I've used a connective to start my analysis. So additionally, it connotes a sense of desperation, and I've got that inference, or I've come to that inference because of that verb crawled. If you think about when you crawl, it's this difficult movement. You struggle when you crawl. They are desperate to get to somewhere safe. So a sense of desperation, it's clear that they are using what little energy they have left to find somewhere safe to shelter. And that is kind of my analysis. And then I use my second connective. Secondly, the writer describes that the migrant people clustered like bugs. So this is my second image. Hopefully you can see that it is a simile. Now, what Cambridge say every single year is that if you want to get those top marks, you have to explore the connotations of individual words, even if you are looking at an image. Now, what some of my students do sometimes is that they treat that as one image, and yes, you are going to get marks for that, but actually clustered is certainly a powerful verb, and this simile is quite interesting as well. So again, I've started with the denotation. The verb clustered is particularly effective as it denotes the migrant workers being huddled together in a big group. That is its explicit meaning. Then again, I've used my connective to start my analysis off with. It suggests that the migrant workers turn to each other for solace. Additionally, the writer comparing the migrant workers to bugs. So this is my exploration of the simile. So I'm not just treating it as one image, I'm looking at sort of both parts of the image, and that's going to really sort of get you into that next grade bracket. Creates a sense of them being both powerless and weak. My last connective. Lastly, the writer describes that the migrant workers are going to a mysterious place. Not an image as such, but certainly we can look at that adjective and what it denotes and what it connotes. So the adjective, mysterious, so again I'm using the zoom in technique, denotes a place that is strange or unusual. So that's showing an awareness of explicit meanings. Again, a connective to start my analysis off. It emphasizes the migrant people's plight. They are entering the unknown and feel a great sense of trepidation. And this, of course, is my analysis. Ultimately, as long as you show an awareness of both explicit and implicit ideas, you explore 6 images in total across the 2 paragraphs, you try and say maybe 1 or 2 things about each image, you are going to do absolutely fine. Let me know if you use this method in the comments below. Until next time, bye bye.